I'm Corbett Wall with DB Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, April the 21st, brought to you in part by Safeguard. Is your dewormer working? Text the word SAFE to 48109 to receive a free fecal test kit for your cattle, not for yourself. Also get a chance to win a pail of Safeguard mineral. Proving our point. I tell you what, so far this week, and I realize we're just getting into it, but so far this week, the packers and the negotiations on this week's fat cattle sales are absolutely proving our point for the need for mandated minimum negotiated cash trade. On Monday and Tuesday, packers are all already showing that they are interested in cattle, but not for this week and not for next week. They're only wanting to buy cattle with time on them, mostly for mid-May. And so, guys are kind of confused with what they should do there because they're not sure if we're going to be able to gain ground the next few weeks and then those cattle are going to be cheap or vice versa. Well, exactly. If you start selling cattle for mid-May now, you're not going to gain any ground this week or next week. And it's going to kill the rally that we had going for 2 or 3 weeks before last week. But you go into the sale barns where they still have fed cattle auctions in the Midwest. On Tuesday morning, Dunlap Livestock Auction, the Shavens there, they had a great fat cattle sale, have had for the last 2 or 3 weeks, selling the bulk of their fat cattle from 124.5 to 127. And those cattle are mostly not drug-free, and it was a major packer in there pushing the issue. Stockman's Livestock in Yankton, South Dakota had over 2,000 head of slaughter cattle, a lot of cows and bulls, but on their fat cattle offering, they were selling most of their fed cattle from 124 to 128.5. A lot of those were drug-free or mostly just no implants, which is not that big a deal. But some of their drug-free fat cattle as high as 131. Now you wonder, how would that work out with your packers needing to meet a minimum negotiated trade? Auctions is a way for them to meet that. That's negotiated trade. So wouldn't that be something if we could bolster these fed cattle auctions, maybe have some more sale barns in the Midwest, and heaven forbid, even in the Southern Plains, more auctions selling fed cattle at auction. That's what we need. That's why we still sell the bulk of our feeder cattle at auction. But we got to have competitive bidding on these cattle, and the packers are absolutely proving our point so far this week. They're going to continue to try to buy as many cattle as they can for at least a month out. You remember I told you on our last visit that last week's sales were almost half for the 14 to 30 day delivery. Guys are giving up our market by selling cattle out front and taking care of their packers' problem of ensuring that they got plenty of cattle to meet this time when they're kind of low on market ready supplies and high on demand for their box beef cuts. We've got to get this deal done. And your packers show no fear. I mean, us cattle people are mere peasants to them. They don't, what are they doing? They'll never get together. We've talked about how we can't get together, and if your cattle people could get together and just choke them off, they could absolutely do anything that they want. Your packers don't even own cattle anymore. Of course, they do have formula deals with guaranteed supplies there with the outfits that they've sold their big feeding enterprises to, like Five Rivers and Green Plains and Freona Industries and the like. They're going to get plenty of cattle there, but they still got to buy outside cattle. And we can talk about the 5014, which is a doable deal, Cattle Market Transparency Act, which is a doable deal, but your packers have no fear of us getting either of those things done. They have shown no fear. That NCBA has actually acknowledged that even on their 75% of a robust market deal, that we've hit a major trigger and only have to hit one more major trigger in the next 3 quarters for them to get behind some kind of a regulation or legislation to get more negotiated cash trade. They don't care. Let's show them that we could get together and get this deal done. We had the board kind of recover on Tuesday for the first time in several sessions, and showing that there does have some footing a little bit, so that was encouraging, especially in the face of grains being sharply higher. So look at your board for cattle on April. Live cattle futures up 22 cents on Tuesday, 120.57. June was up 60 at 119.20. Going out from there on your back months, up 75 cents to up $1.60. Very encouraging. April feeder cattle down 15 cents at 137.57. Boy, it's dropped a ton here in the last couple of weeks. May up 30 cents. That's encouraging at 142.77. And you got your back months. We saw some really impressive gains, up 35 cents to up 175. Now this all in the face of grains going sharply higher again. Why? Because we had some cool weather and some snow in the Midwest on Tuesday morning. And you think, well, that's horrible. You know, we should be getting these temperatures up in our subsoil and all that if we're going to grow corn. Don't worry about it, guys. It's not that big a deal. I tell you what, I enjoyed getting this post here from my friend Jeff Huffaker. He's a farmer of white corn in DeKalb County, Missouri, up in northwest Missouri near Maysville, where I used to live. He posted this picture. Yeah, they had snow on Tuesday morning, and look what happened on Tuesday afternoon. It's moisture, guys. You got to pick one. Are you scared it's going to be dry, or are you scared because it's cold and it's snowing? But corn up 14.5 for May on Tuesday and closed over $6 a bushel. Well over $6 a bushel. That's 606.5. I tell you what, when they get this corn in, and we get a little bit of moisture around, and then we get some sunshine and some warm temperatures, and the evenings and overnight start to stay at a high temperature level, you wait. This corn is going to drop like a rock. Beans up 22.25 cents at 14.72. My gosh. Kansas City wheat, that's what we should be scared about. It was up in Kansas, or up in Oklahoma, getting close to Kansas there on Tuesday. It was cold now. It was down in the 20s. That should be where you get worried, because you know, they zap that wheat that's up there pretty tall now. You likely have to cut that for hay or something and won't be able to make a crop, where a lot of guys are wanting to make a crop, and the wheat looks pretty darn good. But Kansas City wheat up 8.75 cents at 620.75. Your fat cattle trade, none. CBP did not have a cash pool, because all they wanted to do was buy cattle for May. And Casey Bradshaw said, no, that's not what we're trying to do here. We're selling spot cattle on the cash market for right now, and didn't get any competitive bids, so they didn't do it. I tell you what, guys are going to have to dig in and show some strength if they're going to hold this market steady, but still a good opportunity to get back to gaining a buck or two. But you guys got to do it. Got to get together. Get together. How about box beef cutout values continue to gain? How much do your packers get just to cut that stuff up? Okay, they're wanting to buy cattle at 194, 195. The overwhelming majority of them are choice. Choice carcasses, box cuts are 278.26. How much do you get just to cut that stuff up? That was up 209. Select up 134 at 270.47. Your slaughter, 240,000 so far this week, just through Tuesday, and that's a lot better than the 228,000 we had up to this point last week, and 172,000 the same week a year ago, of course, with COVID being such a big problem at that time. Was in Cherokee, Oklahoma on Tuesday at the Mid-States Video Auctions first sale, and you know, got the first sale under our belt. Couldn't have picked a worse day to do it, with the you know, the way the board's been acting the last several sessions, and all your cash markets lower. But you know, I had a pretty good sale and got some cattle sold pretty good, including the Dale Schmidt cattle there. He had 2 lots out of Beloit, Kansas, 425 steers to weigh 850 pounds in early May at 135. Thought that was a pretty good quote there on a couple of lots and a pretty good string of cattle there. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Tuesday at 138.32. That was down $1.42. And I tell you what, all of our cash markets, all of our feeder cattle auctions have been sharply lower so far this week, more so than I thought they would be. They were lower at the tail end of last week, but they're more lower this week. Talk about some of your sales. Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, about 2,700 head there. Calves sold $3 to $8 lower. Yearlings were not well tested. They did sell about 900 head on their in-house video that they do through DV Auction, and man, they've had a lot of success with that. And I tell you what, 10 years ago when I was going to Ozarks Regional Stockyard there as a market reporting supervisor, I would have never dreamed that they would be as cutting edge technology they are now. But I mean, they'll just throw an in-house video sale maybe every other week or maybe every week when cattle are moving. But they've got Steve Anderson in there doing that, and he's got a lot of experience and doing a hell of a job getting a lot of Arkansas cattle in there. And including on Tuesday's run, they had 120 head of Billy Caldwell's home-raised cattle there out of Rosebud, Arkansas, 850 pounders, current delivery 134 and a quarter. Now that's how you can sell some really high cattle in a place like Arkansas that kind of has a reputation, but you get those cattle and you didn't even have to bring them into the sale. They just went out there, video them with a cell phone, send the videos to DV Auction, stop the regular sale at West Plains there at a certain time, feature those videos, take internet bids, take bids from the seats, and have a hell of a sale like that. I mean, it's a good way to market your cattle. Let's talk about several individual quotes from around the circuit all over the country. On Tuesday, my friends at Lone Star Stockyards, Wildorado, Texas, getting the legs under that sale there. 144 head, 844 pound steers, 135.75. Pretty good quote for the Texas Panhandle. How about Kimball Livestock Exchange, Kimball, South Dakota? They always have a good sale on Tuesdays. 70 head, 750 pound feeder steers, bring 155.10. How about Miles City Livestock Commission, Miles City, Montana, 98 head, 554 pound steer calves at 186 and a quarter. North Platte Stockyards, my friend Kyle Lehman, I tell you what, he's getting the legs under that sale that had been shut down for quite a while. I tell you what, there's nothing like resurrecting a sale barn that had been shut down for any amount of time. But he's getting that deal going again, and I'm proud of him. I wish him the best of luck in continuing his success there. He sells 62 head, 603 pound, must have been stalker type steers at 185.10. Goodness. But the best quote that I saw anywhere, and your Zach Tran top quote from the day, come out of Knoxville Regional Livestock in Knoxville, Iowa, where they've got new ownership and new management, 68 head, 805 pound feeder steers at 146.35. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.